Good afternoon. This is Ned Oshiro. I'm an American English pronunciation coach. こんにちは、ネッドです。今日のですね、コロナウイルスに関する数字ですが、おかげさまで5月1日に報告された143名の感染者と5名の死者の方ですね。死者というのが、この数字は変わりません。ですから、この6日間、全く感染者ゼロという状態ですね。一番いいことだと思います。これをぜひ、これから今後もずっと続けてほしいと思います。今日はですね、また英語でもってライブをしたいと思います。で、今日のテーマはですね、なぜ日本人は英語を話すのが得意ではないのかということについてお話しします。Good afternoon. This is Ned Oshiro. I'm an American English pronunciation coach. Today, I'd like to report to you that the figures related to the coronavirus remain unchanged since May 1st. That is that the total total infections related concerning this coronavirus stands at the 143, and the five fatalities, both of them remain unchanged since the May 1st. So in other words, there have been no infections for the past 6 days. Today, I'd like to take up the subject of the reason why Japanese people are not good at speaking English. As you may know, compared with Chinese and Koreans, Japanese lag far behind these the Chinese and Koreans in terms of English speaking ability. There's several reasons. First of all, you can say that Japanese language itself is considered one of the most difficult languages in the world, and Japanese language is considered syllable-time language, whereas the English is stress-time language. What it means is that syllable-time language means that each word has to be stressed equally and the flat. So when you hear Japanese, especially those English-speaking people hear the Japanese talking in Japanese, they think the talking is so flat, monotonous. But as you know that the English itself is a stress-timed language, means that you have there are words that have to be stressed, and also there are words that have not been unstressed. That are words that are not stressed or unstressed. So that makes a hell of a difference, because when Japanese people listen to or hear American or some English-speaking people talking, we get very confused, because there is up and down. There is a rhythm there, right? And also there's so many reduction, contractions, and it's expressions which are not familiar to Japanese people. In Japan, most of the Japanese have spent about a total of 6 years on the English, the education and English itself. 3 years in junior high and 3 years in senior high. But yet these English mainly focused on how to read and write instead of speaking. Even when I was in school, we learned, we started learning with this what we call Romaji, Roman characters, and then gradually were introduced into this English. But the way they teach was only you just learn how to read and write. But we had never had a chance to speak English or practice speaking English. That's one of the reasons that not many people have, Japanese people have never chance to speak that practice the English at all. Because as long as you live in Japan and you don't want to go out of Japan, you don't need to learn English. As long as you know Japanese, everything can be done smoothly without any trouble at all. So there is no reason for them to study or learn English at all. Second reason that the Japanese is not that good at it, speaking English is that the sentence structure itself. Japanese goes like, it consists of like a subject followed by verb. Whereas English, subject further followed by object. And verb comes at the end of the sentence. Whereas English has the subject followed by verbs, right? And then object. So if you, in putting yourself in the shoes of Japanese, you cannot, we normally say, like, you just wait until, whenever you talk to someone in Japanese, you're supposed to listen until the end of that sentence. Otherwise, you don't know whether he's saying negatively or positively. Because I said, it's subject and followed by objects. And verb comes at the end of that sentence. So that's why Japanese people tend to be very patient. They have to listen to you until the end of that sentence. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to know whether he's talking positively or negatively. That's another reason that, this Japanese people are not good at English speaking at all. And the main cause of this the discrepancy or the being behind in the Chinese and Koreans is that the education itself, English education itself. See, olden days, English learning was started when scholars wanted to learn how to read English so that they will be able to study and prepare themselves for making constitution. So that time, all they have to learn about English is how to read. You don't need to read. You don't need to learn how to speak at all. This trend continued even after this Meiji era and then until today. Although, lately they have changed that. They found that the English speaking is more important than the reading and writing. So they started teaching English conversation in elementary schools. So I hope this will change, this trend and direction of the Japanese English proficiency. And that's the reason that, a lot of Japanese didn't have much time to practice speaking English at all. And another perhaps special feature or maybe striking out the feature is that the Western culture is a sin culture, which has ethical standards inward, whereas Japanese culture is a shame culture that has the standards outward. So in Japan, we Japanese are often told by their parents from their childhood or during their childhood that don't do anything stupid or shameful or disgrace to the name of your family. So whatever you do, don't disgrace, get into trouble that cause your smear your name of the name of your family. The good example of this this shame culture is that you can find in olden days when Japanese warriors, so-called samurai, whenever they whenever they commit crimes or the mistakes of big mistakes, they normally show their expression of being sorry by cutting their either throat or but cutting their belly, so-called harakiri. That's trying to show their family members or the superiors they belongs to, or they are faithful to, that I'm very sorry that I have made such a stupid mistake, or the blunder, or commit crimes, whatever. So in order to express my being sorry, you just have to show that how remorse he is. So by cutting his belly. That's the reason they decided. See, the Japanese culture itself is based on that shame culture. That's why they don't, whenever they want to talk in English, they don't want to make mistakes. But you cannot, it is very natural things for you to make mistakes when you're talking in second language, this language which is not yours. I mean, your mother tongue at all. But still, they know that, they are aware of that fact, but they still cannot make, they think they're still being shameful if you make a mistake. That's why they never dare not, to speak English at all, especially in front of the foreigners, even in front of the other Japanese. So showing your disgrace, committing mistakes is a shameful thing to do for Japanese. That's the reason that they always try to wait until they, whenever you ask, say, you can speak up. You can talk in English. Say, no, I'm not good at it, English at all, because, and they want to wait until English gets perfect. But it's impossible to make your English perfect. So that's one of the reasons that they tend to not to speak the practice English at all. I hope this is helpful for you understanding the Japanese, why Japanese are not good at speaking English. Thank you very much. Bye now.